The City Council has declared the destruction at Masiphumelele a disaster. This allows the city to apply to access funding from the national fiscus to provide aid and relief to those who have suffered grief in the wave of the devastating fire that has razed about 1,000 dwellings. Now, residents of the wetland informal settlement are trying to rebuild their lives just days before Christmas. Newzroom Africa's Masiphumelele joins us now from Cape Town. Nasipi, a very good afternoon to you. It's not a happy day for the residents of Masiphumelele. In fact, it's not just Masiphumelele, as I understand it, Nasipi, that has suffered fires in the last few days. Take us through some of the communities that have been affected by fire, and what does this declaration of these areas, at least Masiphumelele, being declared a fire disaster, what does it mean then for the residents?
Well, Goli, I think we'll start with the declaration by the mayor to make Masiphumelele's devastating fires on Friday a disaster. This now means that the municipality will be able to get emergency funds to provide the necessary starter kits that are usually provided to residents who have been affected by fires. And in this instant, the city, or rather the Human Settlement Department in the city of Cape Town, was not able to do this. And basically, they are saying that it is because of the budget cuts. They're saying that they've received about a 50% budget cut, and at this stage they will not be able to provide any relief to people that have been affected by fires. We do know that about 1,500 structures were razed down at the wetland informal settlement in Masiphumelele, and that means over 1,000 families will have been affected, and also in Khayelitsha, about 40 structures, and also in the Strand community, there was also a number of structures that were also razed down there. So about 3 informal separate fires in the last few days. And going back to Masiphumelele, we do know that the Gift of the Givers and many other organizations have stepped in to assist that community there with humanitarian relief and aid, while the city is trying to access these funding. However, the mayor is saying, or rather in a statement released this morning, the mayor is saying that even with the declaration, he has cautioned residents to also exercise a level of patience with them, as this process is not going to be an overnight process. However, still asked many organizations and Capetonians far and wide to come forward and assist those families that have been affected by the fires. But as it stands, the Gift of the Givers, Living Hope, and also Standard Bank donating about R1 million to assist those communities. Gift of the Givers has been on the ground in Masiphumelele assisting residents with blankets, non-perishable foods, and ensuring that people do have shelter during the course of this period, while the residents are still waiting for their fire starter kits from the city of Cape Town.
Yeah. The residents, Nasipi, the affected residents, where are they being housed at this time?
The residents have been moved to local churches in the community. Others are sleeping with family. Others have actually started putting up their structures. And we know that in instances like this, many people do not want to leave their plot because in instances of fire, other people tend to build on your plot. So many people, including fathers and even mothers, have taken their children to the churches or the designated places for the shelter, for their children to get the food and also shelter and be taken care of during the day. And many of them are still at the wetland informal settlement, trying to salvage the few material that is left from the devastating fire, just to put a roof over their head in the interim while they're waiting for the city of Cape Town to provide them with those emergency starter kits. And basically the community of Masiphumelele in the wetland wetland informal settlement are not the only ones that have experienced a rather waiting period for the fire starter kits, as we do know that it is usually provided for to people within the first 48 hours after a fire. But the community of Taiwan informal settlements, where a number of structures also were razed to the ground, leaving about 100 people, are also still waiting. But the city of Cape Town is also on the ground there, trying to verify the number of people that have been affected, including to see how they can assist them when this relief funds actually kick in.
Yeah, Nasiphi, final question to you. There's about 1,000 informal dwellings in Masiphumelele that were simply razed to the ground. There's no telling how many people have been affected here. And so the speed that the city of Cape Town has got to work with in order to provide those people with the necessary shelter, I can't emphasize that enough. How quickly is the city working around this, because this incident comes at a very awkward time, COVID-19. People are not supposed to mix with each other.
That is indeed true. I mean, it is indeed COVID-19, and it's 1,500 shacks that were razed down on Thursday, leaving more than 1,500 people that have been left displaced. Children have lost their clothes for Christmas. Families have lost everything, including the groceries that they had, put away for Christmas Day and for the festive season. And basically what people are left with are only the clothes on their backs and what they are receiving from the community in the surrounding to assist them and ensure that they are warm during this period. So the timing of this fire in Masiphumelele is indeed, very concerning. And the city of Cape Town is saying that they are trying to assist. Malusi Boy was at Masiphumelele Friday morning to first-hand assess the extensive damage caused by the fire. And he said during his walkabout there that they are in contact, or they have already contacted national, or rather the Human Settlement Department, to see how they can step in and assist, seeing that the hands of the city of Cape Town have been tied behind its back regarding the funding. However, I mean, having spoken to a number of people that have been living there for over a decade, some 2 decades, they are saying that the issue of Masiphumelele and fire is something that is a common occurrence. One person even saying that when they do visit the Eastern Cape, especially during the festive season time, they cannot relax and fully enjoy the festive season because the community is a fire-prone community, or rather area where they have experienced big fires affecting at some point 8,000 people. So the city of Cape Town is also saying that they have tried, or they are trying to assist the community of Masiphumelele by finding a permanent and long-lasting solution by the housing development that they have in the community. And already in the past month, they handed over about 500 houses. However, the challenge that is presented there is that the beneficiaries that do receive houses, they accept the houses, however, end up renting the houses out and going back to the community to put up structures. And Malusi Boy, who is the MACO member for Human Settlement, says that this is not a unique challenge that is presented in Masiphumelele, but throughout the city of Cape Town, where there are informal structures, saying that this then presents a challenge for the city of Cape Town in trying to eradicate shack communities or informal structures in the city of Cape Town.
Nasiphi, thank you very much for that comprehensive update live for us in Cape Town.